It's a trucking, transportation, and lifestyle show like none other.
Man, you call this a life?
Road Gang Radio is back for another half hour of the best transpo show in the known universe.
We come in peace. Well, actually, we're falling to pieces.
Let's see if we can achieve liftoff, Phone Master Dre.
Oh, that we did into this final hour before we get to some We Should Write on Road Gang Radio, live from the House of Degas with good old Lindsay, Lawler, and Jimmy Mark.
That's me. That's him. Welcome back to Road Gang Radio. Thank you for speaking of We Should Write, Phone Master Dre. That will be coming up last week's episode with will air in about an hour from now. Yeah, 11 o'clock. Yeah. And that episode was with
Teresa Bruno.
Teresa Bruno. Oh, my brain is
At least you know I listen and love the show.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Teresa Bruno, which was a fabulous episode, by the way. And she's got a really cool project coming out that I'll be talking to you about soon that I get to be a part of and go speak on her show. I'm very excited about that. More to come. But live today, joining us is Amy Daughters, a beautiful writer. And the story, I've said it, Jim, I'm going to say it again. I think if you listen to We Should Write today, it has the potential to change your life. Today's episode specifically. So tune in for that coming up in just a bit. But first, speaking of We Should Write, we've got some writers on, some musicians on that I am so excited to talk to. I love when we find new music that shifts everything for us, Jim. And these are one of those acts.
You could have maybe read about them guys in the Boston Globe or No Depression and so many more places, by the way. Damn Tall Buildings. They are a celebrated folk bluegrass band based out of Brooklyn. It's really fun, too, because Sasha and Max, Sasha, by the way, is the upright bass and vocals, and Max Capistran is the guitar, banjo, and vocals, Sasha Dubyk. They met at Berklee, and I don't mean the one on the West Coast, I mean the one on the East Coast with the double E at the end. They're now married and have since started their own community-focused music school in Brooklyn. They are joined by Avery Ballotta. The seasoned trio has spent over a decade honing their craft through dedicated touring and recording. And when they say they have a distinctive sound, that, by the way, is in the PR stuff, absolutely correct. There is no genre for what this is other than really good, foot-stomping, joyful times. It weaves heartfelt lyrics into thoughtful fiddle, guitar, and bass arrangements. And they started off as buskers. You can hear that inside of all of this stuff. And they bring infectious energy to all their music. Lindsay, say hello and good morning, by the way, to Avery Ballotta of Damn Tall Buildings. Unbelievable.
Hello, and good morning, by the way. Glad to have you here.
Hello, and good morning to you as well. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
It's a pleasure to have you. And I have so many little nugget questions, but we'll dive deep first as to how this all came about. But first, I have to. Sure. Do you know the band Carolina Chocolate Drops?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Okay, I heard y'all in there, or them and you, and I mean that as probably one of the biggest compliments I can ever give, because something that they do that I think y'all do as well, and I don't think y'all even necessarily do this intentionally, I think it just happens because you seem like true artists that just make music and don't worry about what it sounds like. Because, you know, when you see somebody's bio and it says like a folk, bluegrass, Americana, all the things get mixed in, you know that that's some sort of publicist or someone in the background trying to figure out what it is. And I think with you guys, we can't figure out what it is, and that's why it's so good. I love talking about genreless. So do you feel that going on here? Because I think the minute we have multiple adjectives for what it is, it's already its own thing. And that's what I feel about you guys, and I mean that as a huge compliment. Does that resonate?
Definitely. Thank you so much for saying that. It's an honor. And yeah, I would say that especially as you go on further and further and you try and define something, the more and more you do it, the more you really discover what it is.
Yeah.
And we definitely find that to be true as we continue to make stuff. And we're obviously we love tradition and we love the old time and bluegrass stuff, but we all grew up on like rock and roll and classical and like all sorts of stuff. So all of that kind of gets in there, and it just so happens that we play these instruments. And since we love playing together, it definitely comes together to make something that we've discovered is definitely unique.
One of the things that I really so much enjoyed was I stopped listening to individuals and just began kind of listening to the whole thing ensemble-wise. And I just kept thinking about the fact this is a unit. I kept saying to myself, this is not, oh, there's the standout, there's the breakout. Because every time I thought there was, I'm like, oh no, that was their breakout moment inside this song. There's another one, and there's another one. And there really seems to be a real value lesson on how truly being collaborative, truly giving everybody a chance to shine, because despite the fact that I wouldn't say that, that jazz is lurking in here in regards to sound, it is lurking in here in regards to structure. That there seem to be a couple of moments and a lot of song moments where it's like, your turn, now your turn, now your turn. There's almost a conversation going on between both instruments and voices in these songs, in their kind of conception. That seems to be the foundational strength of it, along with that busker sense of, hey, look over here, some fun stuff is happening. How do you guys do that together? How do you work that out together without being like, now it's my turn, now it's your turn, now it's my turn?
Yeah, totally. Definitely, I would say the busking training and putting all that time in on the street and everything definitely added to that, because at a certain point you definitely gotta like figure out what captures the audience, but usually what captures the audience is like a real moment, so we've really found that, like, by tuning into each other early on, we found out that was a good secret to success. And then in the now collaboration, when it comes to recording or songwriting or live or anything like that, trading off, that musical communication is mirrored in our daily life communication as well. We're very like open and honest with each other, leading very much with love with each other, just because we are in it together, and it really does feel so collective, and we love to share that energy and show that it's possible.
Well, it's felt. You can see it just even on your videos. I can't wait to personally get to go see you live. And since you mentioned the busking thing, I have a real heart for busking. I live in Nashville. I'm a performer and songwriter here, and the busking thing has become more prevalent. But in the quote unquote olden days, we would see buskers and we would immediately think like, oh, homeless or something. It's not. It's not that. It's really people just trying to find their space wherever. And so since you guys you say you didn't really rehearse, you busked. I'm curious your take on what that busking, what that street performing and playing taught you guys about, groove and pacing that a rehearsal room or even a venue show and reading a crowd, what that can't do, that busking really was able to do.
Absolutely. Definitely leaning into things that we wanted to play instead of felt like we had to play. That's one aspect I think that was really beneficial. And then I'd say that we really got to practice all of our chops, but especially our vocal chops. Cause Sasha was really the only, trained singer in the group. And so now, all these years later, we feel very confident and happy to be singing together and all very good about it. But definitely I'd say that the vocal training was great. And then of course, just capturing, gathering a crowd, keeping the energy up and finding the pacing. I love that you brought up pacing, because there's always a rhythm to any sort of performance in general, as you know. And I definitely think that it's a very conversational pace that we keep, even on stage, in bigger theaters and stuff. It's the same kind of we'll hear, we'll try and hear what you said out there in the audience, it'll be a real conversation. And that has remained very true to our whole thing.
I like Avery, Jem. I want to be friends with Avery.
Well,
I'm in.
There's also
I drank your Kool-Aid.
There's a longer conversation, by the way, between what it's like to kind of grow up in Bozeman, Montana, and then find yourself on the streets in a highly populated city environment with some people listening intently and other people trying to walk their way straight through the band. I mean, that's just must have been a whole kind of whiplash as well too. I mean, you've seen both versions of America, many more versions of America as well too. I mean, your travels have taken you pretty far. How did you end up where you ended up?
Yeah, great question. I grew up in Bozeman, like you said, and initially went to MSU for music technology. So I got into the recording and sound design stuff there, and I was studying composition as well, and really wanted to do film scoring and get into like that kind of underscore type work. And just on a whim, heard about Berklee. I had never heard about Berklee until like a year before I applied, and then ended up going for it just because it felt like it was the thing that was calling to me. And I'm thrilled I did, because I ended up getting in and meeting obviously this band and my friends here and like a bunch of other friends and my wife I met there. So, you know, it was like all around the best decision for me to go to Boston. And then from there, yeah, definitely a little bit of a whiplash in terms of just the experience of interacting with people, right? Like all the time, you know. Montana, Bozeman's growing, but it's definitely, Montana's still that Montana vibe where it's slower paced and everyone's very friendly, but it does, you don't have to interact with each other very much. So the East Coast speed was definitely something to stomach right away, but then I fell in love with it, you know. And now I've been in Brooklyn for 8 years now, so I've been out on the East Coast since 2012, and I really love it. I find myself very much at home here. And then I love coming back from the road too, because it's always a great time to be able to talk with people in the city about like what's going on outside of the city. So it's nice.
Another reminder, guys, listen, he said he followed an instinct that said I found out about this place, applied, met his band, met his wife, found a career, follow the nudges is what I'm trying to say. And speaking
Absolutely.
of nudges, you get nudges, and I'd love for you to talk about your international travel, because y'all have done some cool things that probably could make or break a band, quite frankly. But these expanding trips and expanding your horizons. So I want to talk about your trips overseas and what y'all did, but also a quick question. It's, how do I pronounce it? Legacy Abdi. How do I pronounce that track on the album?
Yep. Legacy Abdi, yep.
Oh, I did it right. Okay. When I was listening to that, by the way, driving home last night under the big full moon, I had the windows down and I was listening to this record, which is so good and a great way to consume it, by the way. That track, there's a part in it, and it's probably you playing fiddle that sounds like a turkey calling to me. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. So that is, yeah, totally. There might be some of that in my fiddle part for sure, but there's also, I'm emulating our guest on that track, Hades, who goes by Hadinko, who's playing a masinko, which is a one-stringed traditional Ethiopian instrument. And we learned that tune from him. And so that string sound that sounds very like overtone focused is him playing this incredible like melodies on a single string with just where his finger placement is and this bow speed. And he and I really got along really well, kind of in the mechanics of it, but musically as well, but we geeked out about it a little bit. And we got to meet him in Ethiopia, in Addis Ababa in 2023. We had the pleasure and honor of going over and doing some cultural exchange, some cultural diplomacy with the State Department and the U.S. State Department. And that was a great trip and jam-packed. We learned a lot. And again, we got to meet Hades and play with him every day. And he wrote this tune in honor of his late mentor, who's Legacy Abdi, who's a great masinko player himself. So it was really nice to bring it full circle. And then we just fell in love with this song. And in the beauty of technology, we were like, can you record in Ethiopia and send it over? and he gave us his blessing to record his song and then added his masinko. And then that's one of my favorite tracks on the record.
Speaking of ambassadors, Jim, they're ambassadors right there.
There is a genuine ambassador. By the way, I'm a brag on my friend here. We call her the Madam Ambassador because she was just named one of trucking's best ambassadors for the year, and so we've been kind of celebrating that. The universe.
Love a good ambassador. Music, and is a language. You guys are doing that.
It is the best way to cross lines. The universe is hungry, by the way, and it's been available since October. Is the new is also the title track from their 4-studio LP. We are so thrilled to have Damn Tall Buildings here this morning. I got to tell you, there's so many wonderful songs on here. I don't know what it was, but Turkish Airlines for me was just so much fun, and it was the first. I usually listen to albums from pillar to post, and I did with this one as well. But before that, I saw the title and went, I want to listen to what Turkish Airlines is about. And it was just a blast. I mean, like I said, it's been a long time, about a year or so since I've heard a band that has been like, how could you manage to be both profound and really kind of off the rails fun as well too?
Yeah.
You know what I'm referring to, by the way? Because there's some really great kind of what I would call international, crossing boundaries, crossing borders, some profundity going on here, but it's never at the expense of giving the listener a great time. That's a difficult balance, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I really appreciate you saying that. That's something we love in general in our own sound, and then strive to capture in our recording. So I'm thrilled that it came across and comes across. And yeah, I'd say that Max, as our primary songwriter, is fantastic. He's just a very clever dude when it comes to especially the lyrical side of things. Really, we have so much fun with the music, but he writes these very, very fun and often very funny but deep kind of things. And I think that this record in particular hit a really nice stride in being able to just play the songs, for lack of a better term. Like, the songs were formed and there, and it feels great to play them. And all we had to do was capture them, which was really nice. And I attribute a lot of that energy to Max. But then also, like, all three of us don't really take ourselves too seriously. We are serious about a good time. We're serious about making good music, but
tell.
not too serious about everything else. So
you can tell. Let's get together and light one up. Okay, so you've
you got a lot of enthusiasm on that one, Lindsay. Go on.
Oh yeah, I'm ready.
So you guys, there's a really cool. We just had the guest right before you, Avery, was somebody who has a book on loneliness, actually. So we got into a whole, of course, community conversation. And the vast majority of our audience are over-the-road truck drivers. Obviously, they spend a lot of time alone, but have a lot of time to consume music. So I know they will love you guys. But with that being said, you've lived the third place idea in making music in public, as we've talked about, not just venues. And really building this community musically and in a place that could feel anonymous. You have really brought that together, and even so much so that this whole another layer, you've co-founded a community focused school. So I want to talk about that, the school and the teaching piece that also plays to the community, both in your music and the expansion of the teaching side of things.
Absolutely. So like you mentioned towards the top here, Max and Sasha, Max Capistran, Sasha Dubyk, opened a school. First, they ran it in their home, where they were just doing private lessons in their apartment, and then you can imagine a 2-bedroom apartment gets a little bit cramped after a while, having to run a business and live your life in it. So
and then your fans know where you live, so there's that
exactly,
too.
Yeah.
And you have a few. I mean, that's information that people would be like, "Oh, hey, my kid wants to take music. Where's your kid? I left him at home."
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So now they have a full professional storefront, a commercial space, a block away in Crown Heights, that has grown very quickly into a really nice pillar in the community here in Brooklyn. And so many of their students, they do have adult students and a bunch of kid students, and they have now, I think, 3 teachers that they're able to employ. They have a really solid group over there, and it's awesome. I think, I want to say it's up to 160 students now.
Wow.
It's pretty hefty. It's a good crew. And so many of them are from the area, and a lot of kids walk from school and stuff like that. So it's definitely been awesome. And I've been there as the de facto family member. I'm the one that's there to help with whatever I can, kind of a thing. And then we recorded the whole record in that space as well, because they were able to set up a recording rig in there. So that was really exciting, because that was the first time we've been able to record on our own in more of a studio space. And then being able to, they've put on, I think, 1 or 2 recitals, of course. It's been great. But then also Sasha has started a community choir, which is very awesome. I think it's in its 3rd season now, and they do great. They learn 3 songs and then go to Prospect Park and perform for the people. So it's really
cool.
incredible. I am honored to be a part of it, adjunct to it, and very, very, very proud of both of them.
So here's a question. When do you guys actually start really getting out there and letting people hear this music on stage as this album begins to roll out? And where are you headed next? And I mean,
I have a bone to pick because there's no Nashville or New Orleans on this tour schedule, Jimmy.
We are absolutely. We love you, but brother, we're really pissed off at you at the same time, man, because you could have picked, if you'd picked one of those two cities, the other one could have gone to visit the other one. Lindsay's over in Nashville. I'm here in New Orleans. Why would you skip us? I mean, we are both set for you guys. I mean, we were built for you guys.
I feel it. I feel you are. Oh man, I got to get on that. I'll make a phone call right after this. And see what we can do.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Oh man, but before we make it out there, we're gonna be we're playing in New York, in Manhattan on Thursday.
That's tomorrow.
Which is exciting. That's tomorrow. Yeah, and then Friday we'll be playing at Groton Hill Music Center in Groton, Mass, which is like about, I want to say like an hour north of Boston, I think. And so, yeah, so kind of like our hometown-ish shows, which would be nice. And then after that, we'll be in Frankfort, Kentucky the next weekend, and Jasper, Indiana, I believe, the next day. And then we're finishing up the year in the Front Range of Colorado, Fort Collins and Boulder and Denver. And then after that, we'll take, of course, our holiday break, our little hang out with the families time, and then we're back at it in January. And I don't have the schedule off the top of my head, but it is all on our website for sure.
It is. You can all go over it and check them out. We're talking to Avery of Damn Tall Buildings. You can go to damntallbuildings.com. And speaking of your name, of course, when I saw it, my first thought was the John Hartford song, Going to Live in Tall Buildings. And then
That's
I'm like,
right.
where did this name come from? I have to know.
That you're absolutely right. We are all huge John Hartford fans, and like the sentiment of that song in particular, that beautiful like 2-verse ballad, is
so
amazing.
good.
Amazing. Yeah, I know. I could nerd out about that all
Yeah,
day.
same.
And so we took that and we kind of like we're really running with the busking vibe of being like, well, if we don't have to go get a job, we won't. So like, damn those tall buildings. So that's where that came from. Is that essence of like, you know what, I'm not going to cut off my hair. I'll put on a suit if I have to, but it's going to be a nice one, you know?
Yeah. I have to tell you, and Jim, you'll appreciate this. We were out on tour and we were playing in New Orleans years ago, and we were staying at a hotel that had a pool on the roof. And so myself, my fiddle player, my guitar player, we were up on the roof in the pool. And then, fiddle player and me were in the pool. Guitar player was sitting kind of with his feet in the pool with a guitar. And he started playing Tall Buildings, the John Hartford song, as we were on the roof looking like in a concrete jungle, looking around at buildings. And we were all both equally inspired and sad in the same moment. And that's what great music does. I think it can make you feel both lit up and also sad, but like in a good way. If that makes any sense. I feel like you guys really have the ability to do that as well in your music.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely feels that way. I think we're all very aware of just like the general nuance of life. You know, nothing really is black and white, even though it might feel extreme. So I think that I'm honored to hear you say that, because we definitely try and carry that energy in our music.
All right. So this is one of my favorite things to do. If I were to ask you to name your favorite 5 albums right now, and it can change 15 minutes from now, so you're not locked in. This isn't a final question. But if you're going to give me 5 albums that you can listen to from pillar to post that you just love, what are they?
Yep. Okay, just off the top of my head, because obviously there's too many to count. But I would say John Hartford's on my mind, so I'm going to put Mark Twang as one of them for sure.
Good.
I love that record. I've listened to that a lot. Let's see here. Another, we listen to a lot of stuff, so I'd say that like another record coming to mind immediately is very, very different, but that's one that came out very recently by Aesop Rock, which is Black Hole Superette. I think that's a fantastic record. more in the hip hop realm. And let's see here. Maybe I'll swing back to the old time and stuff. And I love, there's this live recording called Old Timey Concert. That's like Doc Watson and oh man, I'm blanking on who else, but it's a trio, and it's fantastic. That's a great record. I'm pretty sure that's everywhere that I've heard. I got two more. Let's see.
I'm like downloading everything you say because I trust you with my life at this point.
Oh, well, I better think hard for this one. Let's see here. This is funny. This is kind of a throwback to us riding around in the car a few years ago, and we had Cosmos Factory on constant rotation.
Oh, that's a great
CCR.
album. That is a great
love
album.
That record. That's just like hands down. Yeah, like you said, pillar to post. It's fantastic. And then I'll throw one more.
The Universe is Hungry.
The Universe is Hungry. Yeah, definitely. I did listen to it recently after not listening to it. And
It holds up.
Like,
It
worked out.
Over a month later, it still holds up.
Still going
It's
strong.
still going strong. By the way, and Dave Nemo would know this as well, too. Doc Watson with Clint Howard and Fred Price is what you're thinking of. And there's a great, if I remember correctly, Wanted Man is on that album. It's really good stuff. It's really good stuff. Fantastic.
Yeah.
There you go. There it is. And this album is just terrific. Like I said, so much fun from beginning to end. Lindsay, would you care to take our guest out with your final question?
Well, I just, like I said, I want to just be with you guys always and forever. So thank you for coming into our lives. And certainly would love to, we need to get them down to New Orleans is what I think, by the way, because I see that really working. But I'll leave you with this. What is your favorite stage you've ever played on? And what is the dream stage that you cannot wait to play on at some point?
Okay, yeah. Favorite stage is tough, but because we've played a lot of great festivals and theaters and stuff all over the country. But I will say, I think we had the pleasure of going out to France a couple years ago, and it was a festival. It's called La Roche Bluegrass Festival, and it's held at the base of the Alps. So like you're on stage looking out at the French Alps.
Yeah.
You win.
That I can't help but say that one.
Yeah.
But we really are so thrilled to get to play what we do because it's all varied and it's always a good time. So.
Dream stage. Where have you not played yet? In the
Dream
States.
stage,
We'll say in the
stage
States.
would be, in the States would be Red Rocks.
Oh, there we
I
go.
knew it.
Everyone's, definitely our collective dream for sure.
Well, you fit there. Y'all will be there. I see 2020, late 2026 coming your way. So I can't wait to be there.
Thank you.
Can't wait to be there and see you. Avery, Damn Tall Buildings. You guys can head over to damntallbuildings.com and check out more. First of all, the website's so vibrant, all the colors, your tracks, your wind track suits make me real happy.
Yeah.
Everything about you guys are great. Thank you for joining us, and please come back, and we'll certainly we'll be in touch with you guys again. Tell your bandmates that you've got some real fans over here at Road Gang Radio.
Awesome. Will do. Thank you so much for having me.